Go.
Hey everybody, Mark Moppin here, and my partner Todd. We're going to talk to you today about lead generation. We're going to rock and roll and show you some ways to make some money. Lead generation agenda today is why and what generating leads can do for you, how you can generate leads. We're going to talk a little bit about overcoming any fears you got, because trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. Ask Todd, some of my leads are atrocious, and he just, we were able to get them put together. So how to market yourself, have a lead to work with, how to generate the leads while others do work. So in other words, what I'm really saying there is I'm generating, my focus is 100% on generating leads, and Todd's focus is generating leads too, but this allows me to put it over to him, and then he runs the leads immediately. So he's monumentally focused on putting a deal together. And what makes it beautiful about Todd is he's already got the buyers in his head. Like, I'm looking at this property, I know who my buyer is. So, and how to be in partnership with an experienced investor like Todd. Let's go to the next slide. So quick before we get really jumping into this, next week we're going to be talking about how, if you're a brand new beginner, or even if you're an experienced person, we're going to talk to you about how to set up your limited liability company, give you a step-by-step procedure, and we'll actually email that to you too. And the very first thing when you're getting into business, and a lot of experienced investors that don't do this, is they don't get a website. They don't brand themselves. So we're going to talk to you about how you brand yourself, but how to do it cheaply. I'm going to show you some ways that you can get websites really, really cheap, for under $200, even for under $100 if you like. And then the number one thing is, when you're building a website, we're going to show you where to have stuff like your phone number showing, contact forms. We're going to show you how to put all that in. And then the way you brand yourself is, for $6, you can go get 30 directory sites like Yelp, Merchant Circle, Hot Frog, Foursquare. So when somebody, think about it, when I'm dealing with somebody on the internet, what do? You go on and you Google them to see what it says about them. When they're Googling your company, they're going to see the good stuff about your company. They're going to see you've got directory sites. They're going to see you have a presence in the internet. So we're going to show you how to get that set up. And you may even have a presence with more than one name. Like, you might be We Buy Homes for Cash Detroit. And if they do the search, there you are. There's your number. I'm also going to show you how to build a map location. If you don't want to do it yourself, I'll show you where you can just get it done for like $137. A map means like Google Maps. When you do a search for like cash for your house, it's the map that pops up at the top. That's what we're going to go over. So why lead generation? It's incredibly low cost. You don't need any experience. It's a great place to get started. People actually need you. You could work a full-time job and still do lead generation. You can be old like me and tell people whatever you want. Tell them you're retired. It still works. It's a great business to be in. It'll lead you to the highest and best producing wholesalers. So when you are on all these meetings, and I'm going to tell you where to find the most experienced wholesalers right now. That's this Thursday. And you want to get on, and Todd, it's TC Deals, is that correct?
Yep, TC Deals Detroit on Facebook.
So you want to go on there, even if you just go on for networking, even if you're brand new in this business, just listen to it, because you can see who the movers and shakers are, and you want to get to know them, and you're going to find out that they are very sharing people. You're going to develop relationships with them. So you got to find wholesalers that are rocking out there and really kicking out good results, and that's going to be who your buyers are from a lead generation standpoint. And if you are a wholesaler and you want to just generate your leads, this will be a really good. So everybody should have business cards if you're buying houses for cash, just a We Buy Houses for Cash, any price, any condition, your phone number. Then we list different places you can get business cards. we're going to ship this PowerPoint to you. We're also recording this event, so we'll have a video on it for you too. So one of the best ways I generate leads is, well, first of all, let's talk about leads. There's like a push and a pull. So when I'm pulling people in to call me, those are the best leads. What I call a push is where I'm on the phone calling up leads out of Craigslist or this or that, or I've got a virtual assistant, like Todd and I've got a virtual assistant. He makes phone calls. As a general rule, the best leads are the ones that are calling you to want to sell their house. So the signs do a good job of pulling them in. They're Bandit signs. The bigger the Bandit sign, the better. These are like 18 by 24. And the corrugation goes, the corrugation of the plastic needs to be not vertical, but what is it, perpendicular? What is that called? I don't know.
Horizontal?
Horizontal, thanks. Yeah, I never said I was the brightest guy in the lot. So, and then I put like about 6 roof nails and I zigzag them down and put them on them.
Like this.
I put them up high enough where somebody can see it from eye level, not if you put them 8 feet up on the pole because you don't want anybody to steal them. Then it's just good for low-flying airplanes. And you want to put them on corners where there's a stop sign. You don't want to put them on a major artery where they're doing 40 miles an hour past you. They'll never read them. Really just kind of study where you want to put them up. There might be a boarded up house or something. You might even want to put the sign in front of that.
Yep.
So then another great way to generate leads, let me just read this to you. Urgent warning, this building has severe safety hazards. Just because it's boarded up doesn't mean it's, if you own this property, you could get sued from a slip and fall, call me immediately. You can generate your sign to whatever the need is. So it can just be that, wow, urgent, I really want to buy your property, but something that grabs their eye. And then you could also put on there that you're willing to pay for a referral lead to find the owner. That way the neighbors are calling you back. You're out driving for dollars. You're seeing some boarded up houses. You're just out. This is just paper sign. You got a staple gun. You're stapling right on the boards. It's just a really good way, but this actually grabs people's attention because it looks like a note from the city. So the neighbors come over and read it. Everybody reads it and it gets your calls coming back. Just an idea to play with.
Yep.
So let's talk about generating leads. The RIA meetings are online pretty much. So that's what I was saying, like when Todd's doing his networking meeting or other people are doing it, you want to go on and just spot and see who the movers and shakers are so that you can start working with them. And then you want to find out where, like, if Todd's somebody that's got a lot of buyers and if it tells me, look, I need leads from this area or that area, then that's the areas I'm going to focus on. These are source for your leads is the people you might know. So like if you know police officers, they know what's going on in the neighborhood. They know what their motivation is. A court bailiff is somebody that is in the courts in the landlord-tenant situation. They're the ones that work for the judge. They're also the ones that serve the notice complaints. Right now, a bailiff would be a really hot item. A court clerk would be really hot. Because think about what's going on right now with the COVA is people filing their court cases not being heard or they're getting delayed. But the line is that the plaintiff or the landlord that's going to get the tenant evicted can't actually evict them at the current moment. So what you're doing is in the landlord-tenant courts, you have a ton of motivated sellers who are landlords that can't move their tenants out of their property. So that's a really hot item right now if you've got relationships like that. Of course, probate is really good, and people that run funeral homes actually have a very close relationship with people that are dying. So they can lead you to people that can't afford the funeral but have assets. The mailman knows everything. The mailman knows from just looking at your mail if you're got bad credit, where you're at, if you're in foreclosure. So if you have a relationship with a mailman, then the garbage guys are good. They know what's happening.
You
Uh,
could, and you could always set up something with them, Mark, where any lead that they send you, all they got to do is maybe take a picture of the house or the address, and
mhm.
kind of like they're the driving for dollars for you, you know.
Right.
And you just gotta make sure, they know what's going on with what they're sending to you, and they'll
Right.
just supplying it. You work out some kind of referral program with them.
Yeah. Correct. Like, if you are a licensed realtor, technically you can't pay a referral fee, but I'm sure you probably know people who aren't licensed that let them work that out for you, or
Right.
work a deal. Um, so people on this call are people that are good sources. That's why the networking meeting that Todd does on Thursday is absolutely critical, because people giving their name, their phone numbers. It's just a conversation. It's a great way to meet people, and you can stay at home and meet them too. So attorneys are an incredible source. You got probate attorneys, divorce attorneys. These are all motivational type customers that they're going to be working with. Code enforcers. At one point, I had a relationship with the court enforcers in Pontiac, so I could actually find great deals because they know what's going on. Firemen, not so much, because they're actually, most of them are buying the properties themselves. In smaller communities, tax assessors, if they've got a local tax assessor, he knows what's going on with everybody. I used to have a relationship with the water department um, clerk, and she would tell me who's got huge water bills, and that was major motivation. That are going to pawn their stuff, they go to the pawn shop. Um, so pawn shop owners are good. Mortgage people heading for divorce or refinancing, people that are getting in trouble or refinancing. So they're a good source. Taylor's one of the meetings you want to go to is a Renegade when it starts back up. It's a great group. But I'd say right now with the online stuff, Todd's Thursday meeting is the place to be. Public adjusters, we've got a video. If you go to my YouTube and look for public adjusters, you'll see that there's an incredible opportunity with you to get to know a public adjuster. So then, of course, real estate agents, you're like an REO or a BPO. BPO means broker's price opinion. REO means foreclosed property. So there's certain agents that are working with those kinds of properties. I know Todd's son that works with him, he's working those kinds of leads all the time. So if you've got a relationship with them, then you can get access to the leads. Owners of charities are a good source. And then asset managers, that's the person who is actually giving the leads to the agents. But to be able to talk to an asset manager, you probably need to have a relationship with the broker, the company like Maureen would have a relationship with asset managers. Contractors, I mean, I know Todd, when you've had him on your job, he can bonus that contractor on the job if he brings him a good buyer. So, so if they're in the neighborhood, they spot the other people, and BPO agents. So, which we just talked about.
And it's a lot of it is just, and then there's a bunch that you just got to think outside the box, and wherever you go, whatever you do, you got to be prepared to give your 20-second pitch, of what you do, what you're looking for, who you are. I mean, you know, we don't have this on here, but if you are connected in a big church, if you know, a preacher, people in the church, they know when people are in trouble and things like that. So they might, you know, and you show that you could get things done, they'll refer people to you. They sometimes they could even know people that could buy the properties and things like that. So
Guys,
it's
if you're getting started in this, Todd's making some really strong points. But if you're a lead generator and you're getting the leads and you can't perform, then you're going to be dead in the water. Got to get to know the experienced investors like Todd that have got the buyers for you. So, it's uh, getting going is a team action, you know. So if you're an independent kind of guy, then you're only going to grow to this level, and you could be a lot higher.
and I do have, you know, when I'm working with new guys and things like that, I'll give them as much, you know, they could come to the house with me if they have time. It all depends on the person's situation, but they're more than welcome to run an appointment. I am taping my phone calls now, so, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, so they could hear and kind of, I could train people up, you know, slowly but surely. They could figure that, you know, you do this 2, 3 different times and see how it works. And then you just start building confidence in yourself, you know, and, you know, you know, nothing would make me more happier to see someone just crushing it themselves. You know, I'm sure we'll work together still or later or whatever, case by case, but you know, that's just the way I do things. So
Yeah, said another way, with Todd or without him. So, so anyway, how to generate leads, and this is all just to trigger you where you might know somebody or get going. Park store owners are incredible. The traffic there, so if you can get your cards out by their window or up to their desk, or if you even get like a Twilio number, that's a phone number, forward that number, but they get a text blast. So if somebody comes in their store and a lead gets generated off your card, they hear that person calling you, and you can then structure a deal where they get paid on the lead. So they're going to be very concerned that your leads are always out there, being seen by the public. Postcards to landlords, I had great results with that in Pontiac. I would do a Freedom of Information Act on the city of Pontiac. It would then give me the addresses to all the registered landlords. Then I could mail them. So there's a way to get lists of landlords. And then landlords are majorly motivated when they're doing an eviction because they've got a property they're not producing. People in jail. So if you've got a way to figure out how to contact people who are in jail, they own property that's not being taken care of, or they've got financial issues, there's potential there. And then the MLS, the multiple listing service, is the most missed opportunity there is.
yeah.
And I know Todd can verify this. So if you've got buyers that they've got cash and they can buy and they're qualified, you can find incredible deals on the MLS, but you got to have somebody that's watching it and searching it. I know Todd's doing a lot more stuff on the MLS. So
Yeah. I know a buyer. I was working with a buyer just recently, and we looked at the house, and I ended up making after with what it needed and everything else, they accepted an offer that was $30,000 less than asking price. So, you know, so just because the price is the price, I mean, that's not always going to happen, but we're not looking for all fixed up houses. You know, we're looking at certain areas, fixer
right.
uppers, and people are going to try to get more than, I mean, if it made sense at a higher price, great, but it just didn't make sense at that price. So I'm sure if we would have just picked up the phone and called them and said to the agent, our offer is going to be, instead of 70,000, it's going to be 40,000. I'm sure they would have hung up the phone. But if you get an offer in front of them and they get they present it and we start negotiating.
If you've got a very deep pocketed buyer and you sit on the MLS and you're doing your search criteria right, like handyman special, foreclosure, probate,
Land contracts.
yeah, you can do your searches. Then you're cranking out the offers and you're just cranking them out in what you would pay for it. So you're going to upset the living heck out of other realtors. They're going to call you up and say, no way in heck will my buyer or my seller take this offer. Just really upset them. But then 6 months later, they're calling you back, telling you is your offer still good. So that's like farming. So if you do that, it actually works very, very well. So
Yep.
in the state of Michigan, the Department of Natural Resources handles properties that are go back for tax sales, or they revert back to the state because of death or no heirs left. So if you track them, there's sales in different parts of the state. Their source, tax sales. Todd goes to all the tax sales. Of course, all that's on hold right now.
Yep.
Till the COVID thing comes out. Flyers. Todd's going to show you some of his flyers before we get out of here, and then today. So, sheriff's sale. That's an excellent opportunity to get deals. I think we'll skip over that one until it fires back up again, unless you want to say something about it.
Well, also at sheriff sales, I mean, I know we're talking about generating leads, but you could find some buyers. If you have a property for sale, you could go to the sheriff sale with some bunch of flyers and start, you sit there for 20 minutes, you're going to find out who might be the buyers, and you could just start passing out flyers, things like that. So that's a good way to pick up some cash buyers. And, there's deals that, that's a complicated type process, but we're talking about lead generation. You could talk to 20 people that are in foreclosure and send them to me, and you're making leads. Those are motivated people. So.
Yeah, and then the other thing is by going to the sheriff's sale, when they're going on, are you at all the sheriff's sales, Todd?
Yeah, I go to the Wayne County. I work all of them, but I'm physically at the Wayne County every Thursday. From my understanding, there's not going to be any auctions till the rest of the year. That's what I heard.
Yeah. But that's where you want to be able to go and meet people, because they're the ones that are the buyers you're looking for, or they've got the buyers you're looking for. Door hangers. Todd's got an excellent example of one of those. Maybe if you email him, he'll send it to you. Magnetic signs. I don't want no magnetic sign in my car, but if I got a contractor working for me, I can demand they got them on their car.
Yeah.
And I'm a parent, and I'm the one paying the insurance and everything. Might as well make the kids put some signs on the cars that say we buy houses for cash. So there's some ideas for you.
And a rookie mistake would be to have a magnetic sign all over your car, and you run an appointment and you keep the sign on your car. You do not want to do that at the appointment. One, I seen that a few times. I write down the address, and guess what I'm doing? I'm going to call that owner as soon as possible. Okay. If I see a car in a driveway in front of a house with a "We Buy Houses" sign, I'm going to be calling it. But number two is the neighbor, the owner or the seller doesn't want everyone to know their business, doesn't want to know they're trying to sell their house. And what it's going to do is create the neighbor coming over there and say, I'll buy it from you. I'll buy it, and then you're going to lose. Maybe the neighbor can buy it, maybe they can't, they're going to find someone, or they might know in their sphere of influence of someone that can buy it, or their family that needs a house, things like that. So you just don't want to run appointments, keep that on there. Just park a block away, take out your signs off, and then and then then go to your appointment. All right, but really, another quick thing I wanted to say, if you are running appointments, a good thing that a lot of people do, and we'll talk about driving for dollars, but if you could go to your appointment 30 minutes beforehand and drive the neighborhood and get some addresses, it's 30 minutes beforehand. You drive for some dollars, you're in a new neighborhood, you're getting a bunch of different addresses, and you might put some, stickers on the doors or knock on the door. And it's a good thing you could do a little bit before, a little bit after, and you could pick up 20, 30 different addresses a day
That's good.
just by doing that.
So on driving for dollars, like in the summer months now, you're going to be looking for high, tall weeds and grass growing in the house, in the yard. You're going to be looking for deferred maintenance, gutters hanging or whatever. Those are motivated sellers. Remember, we got the signs I showed you earlier. You could tack one on their door. You should probably have some Bandit signs pre-punched with some roofing nails in the back, so when you're riding the area, you'll spot certain areas where you can put your sign up, and so you're making it work. And if it was wintertime and it was snowing, you're going to look for the house where no car tracks are, unshoveled driveways, so just
Yep.
anything.
I've done this before, Mark, where I was talking to a neighbor. Like, if I have a We Buy Houses sign, let's say I'm working on a house and it's empty, I don't want to put my sign in front of my house because it's empty. Someone will break into it.
Yeah.
But if I know someone in the neighborhood, or if I meet a neighbor, man, I'll ask them. I might pay him $20, just to watch my house, right?
Yeah.
And can I put my sign in front of your house? Will you allow me to do that?
Yeah.
And if they like you, giving them $20, they might do it. It might stay up there for a couple weeks, So I could tell them, what I've done before, say, you can put it out there, one day, and then another day you just remove it and put it back and things like that. So, they're watching your house, and you might get some advertisement, so that's something, a thought that you could do with these signs also, is just trying to find someone that could place it out in front of their house.
Yeah, that's good. And then you should be, you can go to promote stuff to generate leads. You can have I Buy Houses cash t-shirts. You can have hats that say I Buy Houses for cash. So there's a lot of different ways to promote yourself. So direct mail.
The new way, Mark, is the mask.
Yeah.
You got it on my mask. It says TC buys houses. Yeah.
We should have a picture of that to show. But
I know. I'll get that next time.
Yeah, go to Todd's Facebook. How do they get to your Facebook?
Yeah, if you go to TC Deals Detroit, and it's a group page, request to join it, and that's my profile picture. It has my mask in there. And believe it or not, when I do wear it, if I'm in wherever I'm at, it don't matter if I'm in Milford or Novi or Detroit, wherever I'm at, I got someone talking to me about it.
Yeah.
So I might be wearing a mask from now on.
So it's like a business card. Yeah.
Exactly.
I Buy Houses for cash, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So we talked about business cards. The IRS, when they've done a tax for seizure, it's actually posted at their offices and stuff. Forfeitures, you can foreclose on a house, or you can do a land contract forfeiture, and they're done in the district courts, but they're not published. So you got a relationship with an attorney, a court clerk, a bailiff, you can get a list of the forfeitures, and you can actually just, typically a land contract, you can just take over payments. So you've got a motivated buyer that wants to walk away, you can assume his land contract. And then you've got the owner of the property, the seller, and he's paying an attorney because he can't represent himself. So he's out of pocket 3,000 or 4,000 probably for an attorney and not getting income. So there's motivation there. Probate, I'm just going to say you want to, it's being rendered now. We had a probate attorney come on. He did an outstanding job of pointing out the motivation there. So just watch that video. I'm going to post it on my YouTube. So it's my name, Mark Maupin, YouTube channel. It'll be up, and then we'll be sending it out to our group to meet up. And it'll be on, you'll post it on your Facebook too, Todd.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
one thing about probate, everyone, is if you could get a probate list, there's a lot of people that are mailing it and doing things. My suggestion is when I call probate is I don't even mention that, someone might have passed, or I don't even get into that subject. I just act like I'm just calling out of the blue. And, we're looking to buy houses, and we're looking to buy another property in the next 30 to 45 days. And we buy in any situation, any condition, just checking to see if you're in the market for a fair cash offer. That's how I treat it. I treat almost every subject like that. You're no matter if it's a pre-foreclosure or foreclosure, I listen to them. Once they mention it, then I could turn or shift gears into that situation and say, oh yeah, we bought houses that were about to go into foreclosure. For sure, we can help you. And then we start talking about it. So that's
good.
That's how that's just a suggestion, because you start talking about someone someone might have passed. You don't know when they passed. They could have passed just recently, and or it could have been, it's just a bad, negative type of subject to get into, in my opinion.
Another good source is demolition. So like different cities have demolition hearings. So in my case, I was at one point, not today, but I was heavy duty in the city of Pontiac. So when they were doing a demolition hearing, I would be able to, I had a relationship with the council and they could pull that house off the demolition list. The owner of that property was majorly motivated, had a serious problem. So you get some really good buys. But I was very experienced, had rehab crews. That's not a place to be if you're doing your first deal.
Yeah.
But if you're a lead generator and you can attend the demolition hearings and you develop a relationship where you see how you can pull them off the list, then you've got a great source for certain people.
My suggestion for someone that's just starting out is you can't keep all these in mind. Pick a couple and work it hard. Pick a couple and work it hard. If you're gonna what's that?
No, you're right on the money. That's the best advice you're given. All we're trying to do is give you a bunch of ideas, but Todd's 100% correct.
Yeah. So you keep these all in mind, figure out a couple that you say, oh yeah, shoot, I know someone that works at the foreclosure, in the tax department or this and that. But, so you just want to, up here is direct mail. If you're just starting out, what do you think? I don't say you do any mail. You're going to spend a lot of money. But when you're driving for dollars and you have a little postcard or flyer, you could go door knocking. And try to reach the people and put a card in there, things like that. So, so that's just, you could direct mail postcards when you'll call the driving for dollar ones, and you might send them a little postcard, something like that.
So Freedom of Information Act's the next, no, we had pre-foreclosure list, sorry.
Yep, pre-foreclosure list. Right now is not that hot of a list to be calling, because a lot of people aren't worried about losing their house even if they're in pre-foreclosure, because they got some time they got to the end of the year, maybe longer. So they're not really motivated right now, even though
Oh,
they're behind.
yeah, but what you want to know, there's a storm coming.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so that stuff's
That's
6 months from now, it's going to be pre-foreclosure will be where it's at because there'll be good deals there.
Yep. 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 Yep.
So you can use a Freedom of Information Act to get like a list of, like I used to use it in Pontiac to get a list of landlords. So time to time you can do that to get a list. You know, if you can be where nobody else is and you got your phone ringing, then you've got something that's working. So don't change it. Just quietly do your thing.
Yep.
So,
For sure. For sure.
uh, so landlord list, and then HUD and VA do foreclosures, and you need to have a real estate agent to work with that.
Yep.
Has access to it. So for sale by owners, I know you work a lot of those uh, expired listings. Those, like if you've got, let's just say it right now, getting a real estate license would be really good. I don't see any disadvantages to a real estate license if you're an investor, except that it makes you more money. Remember, you're working on generating leads. They might just need their house listed and they're not a motivated seller. They just need to list the house.
Yeah. Just give you a prime example, Mark. And I used to, Maureen always laughs at me or cringes when I used to say, I used to always say I have a real estate license and I never use it. And, but I could tell you, I'm using the heck out of it right now, you know,
Yeah.
just a lead you gave me, yeah, you generated the lead in Westland with Livonia Schools. And I went there and they wanted, you know, they would love cash fast, you know, but really they had a real nice house and it just didn't make any sense to them, you know. So it was an easy decision because there's just no way it would have made any sense at all.
Yeah. Tell them how that was a win-win because you comped it out and listed it, but it ended up in a bidding war.
So I met him and on Thursday or Friday, we on Thursday um we put it on the MLS on Thursday, and I comped it out. It was like a 728 square foot property, double lot, no basement, so it was small in Westland, Livonia Schools, and it was nice, clean. Anyway, we comped it out. I put it because they had an agent in September that listed it, same house. He listed it for 100, and he had one showing. So they just didn't. They just had a bad experience. I think the agent was trying to sell it to his buddy or something like that. But long story short, I listed for 97.9. We had 30 showings over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I thought my sellers were gonna freak out because I mean that's a lot of pain, right? It's a lot of aggravation. You can't be at the house. They had a dog, but they stuck with it. They're great people, and so we got multiple offers, and we got $5,000-6,000 more than asking. You know, so it was a win-win all the way around. They loved it.
So, so let me talk to you as a lead generator because
Yeah.
I'm the lead generator that gave him that lead. Now, if I'd have given that to certain people that didn't have real estate license, I'm dead in the water.
Yep.
But I know that if I'm giving it to the right guy, he's not going to leave the house unless he's got the listing, he's got an advertising agreement, he's got something with those people. So whatever their needs are, Todd's in a position to solve it. So that's what you want to do as a lead generator. You got to look for people like Todd that are going to get the results or have the buyers in hand. So, or know how to get them, like the listing. So expired listings is another area. Vacant homes we kind of talked about. Unemployment office. I used to have a van parked across from the unemployment office with a sign on it that said, "I buy houses fast. We buy houses for cash." Uh, Billboards, I've done billboards in the past, very costly, and I did not make out. I broke even. Um, Signs we talked about. Um, I think Bandit signs are a really good resource. We found that yellow sign with black writing, 18 by 24 is the best producing sign. TV ads I've done in the past, that has not worked out for me.
On the signs, Mark, a lot of people use the black and yellow,
Yeah,
and that's why I feel that those signs are successful because they see them all over town. They want to call the guy that owns those black and yellow signs. All right. So it
yeah.
just gives you a presence of, looking bigger and things like that. So I used to always want to put something funny on the sign and stuff like that. But I think just basic black and yellow, we buy houses, cash fast with a huge phone number. And there you go.
Hey guys, the place to go is go online and go to supercheapsigns.com. That's about your best pricing out there.
Yep.
Craigslist is excellent. I'm going to let Todd talk about that because he's
Yeah. Going through Craigslist and looking for houses that people are selling. And you could pretty much a lot of wholesalers put them on there. So you got to kind of weed out and find out who the homeowner, the ones the homeowners are selling or the rental properties. And when you call them, the key is because you don't want to have a quick conversation. Like if Mark's selling this house, I don't know Mark, and it's on Craigslist, and I call him and say, hey, I seen your ad on Craigslist about the house for sale. Is it still available? They're gonna say, yeah. And then what are you gonna say? There's really nothing. If you ask them, well, can you tell me a little bit about the house? Well, it's in the ad. I put everything there. So you're already off. You're already starting off with a conversation that's not going very well. So when I call it, I'll call Mark and I'll say, oh, hey, sir, how you doing? My name's Todd. I'm calling. I got your name and, my office gave me your name and number. I was calling regarding a property. They told me it was in Milford. I was just checking to see if it's still available. And they're going to say, yeah. I say, great, great. Well, if I may, let me ask you a few questions and I'll see what I could do and see if we got, make something work. And then we start talking about the house, even though Craigslist already has all the details about the house on there. You could still ask them the questions because it just opens them up. Now you get to talk to them for a minute. You get to find out what might be wrong with the house. Is it vacant? Is it rented? Is the renter staying with the house? You start just some simple questions like that. And then you could do those, you're going to find out at what time, how fast does he want to close? What's your time like? Why do you want to do it? Things like that. And then you go into the price. You're going to say, well, what are you looking to get? Even though on Craigslist says $50,000, he doesn't know you've seen it on Craigslist. Say, what are you looking to get for the property? And then you be quiet, let him talk. He might say something less than 50. He might say something more. And then once he tells you the price, you pause and say, I don't know if I could do that. Would you consider anything less or something like that? They say yes or no. If they say no, you say, well, if I was able to give you a large down payment and then I could make payments for 12 to 24 months, something like that, would you consider something like that? Would you entertain an offer like that? And they say, if they say yes, then I would book the appointment. So and those are, you always keep on your follow-ups. You should be, in my opinion, a good thing is to be calling 3 hours a day, and follow-up should be at least an hour a day, maybe more, hour or two a day.
Yeah, it's great advice, Todd. Thanks. Facebook, Instagram. Todd majorly works Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is great. Instagram, we just had a a training session here at Villa, all about Instagram. So that's going to be, I'll be able to teach people about Instagram soon, because that's on my to-do list, is to become an Instagram pro. And
All right, we're going to set up a seminar that'll force you to get real smart real quick.
exactly, I definitely need to get out there. There's a lot of people are using it, and just like that Lincoln or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Great.
That's how I got started in the foreclosure business. I scheduled a seminar, booked 200 people, no, 100 people at it, and didn't know the first thing about foreclosures.
Yeah, I remember you told
all
me.
the legal news, and put it on the weekend. It was real successful, but before I was done, I knew the entire foreclosure process from beginning to end.
Yeah.
So we'll do that with Instagram for you. So
I need it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get into that for sure.
That'll produce a forced outcome. So newspapers, even though that they're growing small in size, you might want to look and see how many people are posting ads, and might be something you want to look at for the penny ads and stuff like that, or the cheaper ads. Email broadcast work. And if you join our meetup, which is National Real Estate Network meetup, it's also called 27 month meetup. Then what you're going to do is you can actually email out to the whole group your deals, and there's like 5,800 people in it. If I was looking to generate leads or looking to find people who handle foreclosures or BPOs, there's a site called reonetwork.com, and all the agents that handle foreclosures list themselves there. So it's a way for you to get their contact information. In the restaurants, you used to see the brochures that had coupons on them that you could put, we buy houses for cash, but since that's kind of shut down right now. Party stores we talked about, hardware stores, you just put business cards up on their bulletin boards. Websites, remember we're going to be talking about that next week and showing you how to put those together, how to generate leads with them.
Hey, Mark, we should do a live setup of my website next week.
We could do something like that. Yeah. Why not?
I need one.
Yeah. No, we could do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll let you cruise through this.
I'm going to cruise through this. So this is some other, we talked about some of these already, like foreclosures and pre-foreclosures, people that buy at the auctions. Here's one right here, minions. These are people like you might be new into it, or you're doing you're running leads. You might become a minion. Actually, you might come to me and say, Todd, what can I do for you? And I could say, well, here's a list.
I'm a gray-haired minion.
Right, exactly. Or you might be able to take pictures for someone, but the objective is to make a little money, but really the money, it's really about the knowledge, learning how to do this from start to finish, and as a wholesaler, So I'm working with another gentleman right now, and man, he's been anywhere I go, he wants to be there. So I just send him a text. I'm going to be here, then here, then here, then here. And he's there, and I understand if he doesn't make it, but anyway, when I first started talking to him, he goes, can you send me a contract? Can you send me an assignment of contract? Can you send me that? I said, listen, don't worry about that till that comes. This is the first thing you need to do is get a lead. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do next. And then we're going to make an appointment. And then you're going to figure out because you might not do a contract. You might do a 3-letter option, letter of intent to purchase it. And I could get into that later. That's before the contract. So we do a lot of different things. So like tired landlords, absentee owners, this is a great one. Listability.com is a place you could get those type of, there's all kinds of ways of getting different phone numbers, but that's one good place. Of course, Bandit signs we talked about. Um, Sphere of influence, huge. Everywhere you go, this is huge. Just like we already talked about a lot of these. Let's see, expired. Yeah. So there's just some of these you guys could look.
Yeah, you got attorneys there, but it spells it out: bankruptcy, divorce, and probate.
Yeah.
Those are the attorneys you want to get to know.
Right. Yep.
They got to get paid, so you're their solution for getting paid. So they'll talk to you.
Oh, these are, Mark, these are the items you try to get when pre-qualifying a lead. All right. So when you're talking to someone, you're making a lead. On my lead sheet, I'll show you a copy of that in a minute. Right at the bottom, I have these items listed. And then I have, and we'll go over that in a minute, some other things you could ask when you're talking to the people to try to open them up. But if you're talking to someone and they might be interested in a cash offer, now you're just going to have a conversation. You're going to conversation with them. You're going to say, you know, terrific. If I may, let me ask you a few questions, and let me see how I can make you happy. And then you say, and they're going to say, fine. And you say, okay, well, let me, the property there, how many bedrooms do you have? You know, and you start getting the bedroom counts. You're just doing small talk. You really, I mean, this stuff you can figure out anyway. And they go, is the property vacant? Is someone living there? And, you know, and then they're talking to you about that. If someone's living there, are they going to stay? Are they on a lease? You know, you just common sense stuff type things. And then is there any, instead of maybe saying what updates have you done in the property, you could say, is there anything majorly wrong with the property that I should be aware of? Okay. And then the big ticket item, how's the roof, windows, quick things like that. If it's empty, does it have a furnace? Because it might not have a furnace depending on where you're calling at. All right. And then you could figure out why they want to sell. You could ask them pretty much. They say, I'm just, you know, if you got a renter in there, what makes you want to sell? And then you could talk to them. You could be quiet and let them answer. Okay. They're going to tell you, you know, you're trying to figure out the pain point. Okay. And then you figure out their timeline to sell. Are they looking to sell right now? Because if they tell you, you know, I'm looking to sell probably next January or February, once all this gets passed, that's not a lead. That's a follow-up. You're going to be following up with them every week. You know, is it okay if I follow up with you in the next 7 to 10 days just to say hi and, you know, see if anything changed or how I can help you in any way. So, because you know, we want people that want to sell 30, 60 days, something like that. And then you're always going to ask them the price. What are you looking to get for the property? What would make you happy? And then you be quiet. And so when you're running an appointment, my suggestion is you got to answer at least 3 out of these 4 questions. You got to have an answer for these. Okay. This one here, in the beginning, you might not get that, but after you run a few appointments and you get there and the price is crazy, I don't go run an appointment unless I have this answer right here. I got to have a price. They got to have a price in mind, because I'm going to be in the house for 5 minutes and then I'm out the door. So they're going to have that. You got to soften them up. You got to break them down nicely. But in my opinion, you should be able to get all 4 of these questions answered before you run a lead.
And then as a lead generator, from my perspective, like what's important is I use a system called Tracker Jack that records the call, and that way I can send that recording to Todd. And I suggest this for new people because then he can coach you on what you're saying. And you know, I'm uncoachable, but but it seems to work. And remember, I'm working off a pull system. In other words, I've got people calling me that are motivated. That makes a huge difference. And I can also tell you that my internet leads are my best source, and they're hotter and better than the Bandit signs. So if you're a good internet marketer, go to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's let me try to explain my postcard here. You know what a postcard that, not a postcard, it's like it cuts in half. Okay, so like this is the front of the mailer piece. It says instant cash offer, picture of a house. And then when you open it up, the top portion says this, and then the bottom portion says this. Okay, the very back of it is this part right here, if you can see here. This is just a sample of one of my business cards that I use. Okay, but anyway, so it's just an instant cash offer, and then it tells you we buy in any situation. I listed a bunch of every situation we pretty much talked about. It doesn't matter the situation. Call me today for an instant cash offer over the phone or in person. I kind of, and then I have, you know, Todd Vernon, and there's one of my phone numbers for CallRail. It goes right to my phone, or it'll text me that they called. And then it says, call me today. I promise I'll do my best for you and your family. And then I put it in there. So that's just something short and sweet. You can mail them out. You can drop them off at a house. I've been doing blank postcards now, or you know, I guess, what do they call that? Invitation style, you know, invitation style cards, where I just it has a picture of something, a dog on the front, and then I write in there and say, hi, my name's Todd, I'm a real estate investor. Just reaching out to see if you're interested in a fair cash offer for your property. Call, text, or email me to discuss, and then I sign it and put my information in there, and I handwrite it and put it in the door. So that works also. So, but anyway, that's just a piece that someone could see. Okay, so if you got someone, if you're making phone calls for me, okay, this is what I need, because I'm going to be talking to these people 9 times out of 10, well, really 10 times out of 10 before I run an appointment. But these are the 10 items. They're all simple things we went over already. I want someone's name, address, phone number, confirmation of appointment or call. So, you know, you're going to set that up for me. You're going to say, you know, is it okay if Todd calls you back today at 4 o'clock or something like that? I get that, then I'm gonna set an alarm to call them at 4 o'clock. So, you know, we're gonna find out what their motivation is, and what does the seller want for the property, how much, what do they owe, you know, things like that, liens, taxes, water, things like that. Their timeline to sell, when do they want to sell? They'll figure out what their motivation is also. All right. Are you speaking to any other investors or real estate agents? That's a question you should be asking. Okay. Because we're not afraid of other investors or real estate agents. We want to know, because when I go there, I'm going to be asking them that. Also, I'm going to say, why haven't you signed anything with anyone else? You know, I'm going to say, what's going on? What, you know, so of course, the condition of the property, and ask the seller their price they want. And if you're making the lead, it doesn't matter what the seller says, because when I get on the phone, I'll break it down some more. I just want to hear a number, just the starting point where they're thinking.
Good.
All right. So here's I listen to a lot of different podcasts and things like that, and I have educational notebook that I use anytime I'm listening to a good podcast. I'll pull that book out and I'll start typing or writing some things down that I want to, you know, read every day and learn. Okay. And so here's a few things, a couple of these slides that I just recently listened to and I thought would be great, not just for me, but for everybody else. All right, let's see here. So, all right, so if you're some of, you know, like I tell my lead generator that's working with me, if they can't convert the seller on the phone, but they feel, you know, there's motivation there, there's something going on, then here's a couple of things you could say. Okay, you know, is it okay that if I have the owner of the company, you could say, okay, the owner of the company would like to chat with you. When would you have time? You know, you're trying to make a soft, you know, appointment for me to talk to them. Okay. And anyways, this is something you could read. And the one thing I just downloaded is Mark has a way of Trilio of taping phone conversations and things like this. There's something called Tape a Call, and you download it. And what I did, it was kind of weird. I was checking it out, and they want you to pay a subscription, and it was like 25 bucks, 24.95, and I just wanted to test it out. So I was going to use it for a week or so for free, and then I canceled it, and they popped up. Well, you know, last time offer, $14.95 for a full year. So I got it for $14.95 for the first year. Anyway, you could tape incoming calls and you could tape outgoing calls when you call somebody through this, and then
So Todd, if I'm calling you and I want to sell my house for cash, do you want to hit a button or something?
yeah. What's that? If you call me, and
Yeah.
I could yeah, I'll hit the button and we could tape the call.
You know what? Forget about what I've been telling you. This is the thing to get because it's going to be way cheaper than anything else, and that's outstanding.
Yeah.
I
So
can send you that recording after it's over.
yes, it comes right to me. Yeah, it comes right to you. It comes real fast right to you. And then what you can do is just send it to somebody else. Yeah. You can
Perfect.
rename it too. You can rename the street address or something like that. It's pretty
There
easy.
you go, guys. This is what you're looking for, and that's way lower cost than what I was talking about.
Right. And I actually seen, so I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video and put it on my Facebook page, TC Deals Detroit. And I'm gonna put it on how to use this thing, because
Yes, send it to me, and I'll put it out too, guys. This is good stuff.
yeah, because there's another one that I kind of wish I would have got that seemed one less step than this one. So if I wanted to call a customer, I have to call a certain number and then I call the customer, okay, to record.
Yeah,
If you called me, Mark, then I would press the button, and it's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it works well. But there's another one I think it's way more simpler. So I'll deep dive that today. But I love this for training purposes. For me, I could, you know, hear how I'm talking and things like that. So
yeah. Just to make sure that we stick within the law, when you are recording an incoming call like that, you should give the person notice. Are you okay if I record this for
yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
what you do is up to you, but that's the law.
that's the law. You got to let them know for sure. Um, and I'm gonna start running appointments once I see other people do it all the time, and I'm gonna ask them if it's okay if I tape our appointment for training purposes. I'm working with this guy and that guy, and I'm just trying to help them out. I'm gonna see how it goes, okay?
Yeah, it's
And
perfect.
I'm gonna start, like I did a couple more live videos recently, and another thing, that house, Mark, that we sold in Flint. You remember that one for
Yeah,
100,000 or something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember the number. Well, I spoke to that guy this weekend. I just said hi to him, asked him how things are going, and I just wanted to reach out. And he sent me a bunch of pictures. He's really killing it, fixing the house up. So that's going to be another episode. I asked him when he's all done if I could come back and interview him and go through the house and find out what he spent on it, so we could kind of deep dive the numbers a little bit more.
That's good because you got a before and after.
Exactly.
I
Like,
saw the before, like I
right.
wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, but deal, you know.
No,
And that's because they can't see. It's just full of junk and debris. So they couldn't see what you saw.
right.
So
Exactly. All right. So there's some things to think about there. And then listen to this. This is like one of the best things I learned just recently from somebody. When you're walking, the first thing you should learn how to say or say to a seller, you should probably, before you you introduce yourself. I mean, well, you got to introduce yourself. Okay. But you're always trying to, you can always say, I'm probably not a good buyer for you. Okay. I'm probably not a good fit for you. Whatever sounds most comfortable, or you just switch it up. I'm probably not a good buyer for you. We're not a good fit. These are things you should be saying, because what this does is it kind of softens them up. They're not now, they're fighting you to buy their house instead of you trying to fight them to buy their house. Okay. Try it out. This is something I've been doing recently, and it's crazy, the reaction. This is how you qualify yourself. You disqualify yourself all the time, and this is how you qualify yourself. Okay. So just to give you an example here, it says, this is something you would say, like, I'm not a good buyer for you, and I could already tell why. The seller then might say, then why would you be on the phone with me? This is something you can say on the phone. Well, we had a scheduled appointment. I got an extra 30 minutes. Why don't we stay on the phone, and I could probably give you some good advice. And then they're not going to say no to that, right? And who else are you talking to? Why have you not signed with someone else? What's going on? Okay, so these are some things you could try to open up the seller. Now the seller will start talking more as a friend to you, instead of you trying, and things like that. So at this point, so these are definitely great pointers. And like, I try to read this every morning, because before you know it, next time we do this, I'll have this memorized, but I'll have my own, just like when I make a lead, I don't even have to think about it. And eventually I won't even have to think about this stuff. Okay. And you just got to practice it. You still got to practice this stuff. Another thing you could do, like if I'm in a house and I'm talking to the seller and I'm like, I'm probably not a good fit for you, things like that. I could say, I always wear a hat. I could, let me take my buyer's hat off. And then you just take your hat off. And he goes, it doesn't look like I'm going to be the buyer for you. I'm not a good fit, but, and you could do this while you're sitting there, but why don't you let me help you understand what your options are, and you could go find another buyer. And then we could go into all kinds of different ways. You could do lease option. We could talk about that. Advertising agreement that you were talking about, Mark. We could do things like that. We could be listing the properties. We could be doing this, and this. There's all kinds of options. And of course, I'm trying to funnel them into the option that I want them to go, right? Of course.
Yeah. But no matter what you're saying, you can make money with. So.
Right, exactly. And that's the key. That is the key. So here's a copy of a lead sheet. It's kind of hard to read for some reason, but down here is where I have those 4 things you're trying to get when qualifying a lead. But just
hey, Todd, guys, when you get the PowerPoint, you'll be able to see them. So
yeah. And well, here's the questions to ask. These are some more when you're trying to probe for their pain. You're trying to figure out what their pain is. once you know what their pain is, then you always want to go back to it and pry a little bit more. But how long have you been thinking about selling? Sounds like a great property. Why are you selling? How soon do you need to sell your house? Ultimately, what is this going to do for you? If you're able to get this off your back, what is this going to do for you? Is there anything wrong with the property that I should know about? And then you want to be focused really on their motivation, and you want to find out and be focused on their why. Why do they want to sell? Okay. And again, I put right in here, what do you want for the property? Whatever they say, you're going to pause. You're going to say, I don't think I could do that. What is the least you would consider, And again, it has to flow off you got to be, when you're saying this stuff, you can't be like a robot. It's just got to be natural. Okay. So these are things you got to practice. All right. And then this is something that might be useful to some people. Like you might figure out how many calls a day do I want to make? Is it 50 calls? Is it 100 calls? Is it 10 calls? But whatever it is, you circle how many calls, this is a daily scorecard, okay? And then you can see, in here, you got everything. Source of appointment made. What's the source? Money made today. Money made this week. Money made last week. Money made this month so far. These are good things. Good things to have. You could change this up a little bit. We need to, if you got more people calling, they need to make 10 calls a day. I mean, 10 calls is nothing. So, I mean, this is just an example right here. So, but that's always something good to try.
Todd, going back to that just for a second, guys, this is outstanding. Like I have like a list of things I have to achieve each day, and it's all tied into that. I've got the money situation, like what I've got to do to achieve the dollars I want. You got to have a scorecard like this. And you got to design one that fits your personality, but having the scorecard there is like outstanding.
Right. Yeah, you got to definitely, you just go on a Google Doc and make these up. That's what I did. So,
yeah.
And
you don't make yourself wrong, because remember, this is a game you're playing. So like when you're playing a game, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. But if you keep practicing, look at Michael Jordan. I mean, he's got more shots that he shot that didn't go in than he's made. But it's practice, and that's what this is forcing you to do. You'll get really good. So.
Yep, and you got to track what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Yeah. So I'm going to come in now a little bit, because it's critical that you have to find a very experienced investor. So like, when Todd does his meeting this Thursday, or there's meetings like that, you're really looking to see who the movers and the shakers are, and that they get results. And maybe starting out, you want to work with more than one investor. But it's critical that whoever you're working with, they've got a tracking system, and they're going to keep you in the loop. Because if I'm giving them a lead, I want to know. And the other thing is like the one thing, like in Todd's case, I know if I've got a hot deal, and after you've done this a while, if you got a hot deal, he's a matter of minutes, actually does it on every appointment, everything I send him. But he set an appointment with the person, and if it's hot, he's like figured out how to there directly. When there's a good deal in real estate, you can't not take it in slow motion. You have to jump on it, and he does that. And then they have to keep the communication up. And this goes back, not this year, but back a while. Like at first, I didn't get results when I first started talking to Todd, so I fired him. But then we're back together because he's given me feedback, and he does that with everybody now. So you got to be able to get feedback from the different investors you work with. So that's
for sure.
Critical. They got to have a tracking system that they can feed information to you. At a later date, we're going to talk about some other ways of creating some stuff. We're going to do some testing with Dot on advertising agreements, which is something I used to use in the past. So this is, partner with experienced investors. We've already covered that. You have to be able to sign your lead if you've got one tied up. So we'll get into that. We've covered an awful lot today. So also, I wanted to mention to you guys, we record all of our meetings and we have a club site. It's 27, the number,
Monthly meetup.
meetup.com. So 27monthlymeetup.com. You can go on there and sign up. It costs you $27 a month. And when we start meeting again, we charge for the meetings. You're getting them free right now. And we charge like $20 at the door. So we do 3 meetings a month, but we record all of them and you'll be able to get all those recordings. We've got all of our past meetings and we've got all the forms we talk about are on that site. And then there's all kinds of discount stuff you can get. So check the site out. You can go try it for $1 and get, I think, a week or whatever and start looking at it. And if you're interested in that, email me and I'll send you a link on how to sign up, because we've had some people bumped into some issues in signing up. So we created a video step-by-step on how to sign up.
And once you sign up, I don't know if that was clear, Mark, once you are a member of the 27monthlymeetup.com, then if you do go to the meetings, once we have the live meetings, you do not pay at the door.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So it's actually a great savings
to everything online. And again, anything that we don't have online, like you might have we might be, you might need some help with land contracts, documents, and things like that. You just contact Mark and we'll figure it out. We'll help you.
Now, if you're a member, then I'm going to spend time coaching you and helping you with the forms and doing everything. So that's probably the biggest benefit if people take advantage of it.
Yep, for sure.
So what do we got next?
Okay, sorry.
So this is a really good question. So right now, if you're brand new or you've been at it a while, but if you were just starting out in real estate, what would I do today? Well, I'm telling you some things I would not do. I would not sign up for any $30,000 a year program or sign up with somebody out of state to coach you. You want to work with local people, but you want to get a real estate license, and you because it's going to make you money. And there's like 2 different schools, Middleton and then Namir George, which is Michigan Real Estate Institute. Todd's got some discount stuff too, right?
Yeah, definitely. At the what is it, Michigan Real Estate Institute of Real Estate, or something like that.
Michigan Real Estate Institute.
Michigan Real Estate Institute. Yeah. So I do have some coupons, $30 off. They are doing. I was looking into this. Actually, this weekend, they are doing. They're doing a virtual live class. They do one. You could get the class and you could do it yourself and study it. I do not recommend it. Okay. I do not recommend it. They make it's a lot harder, but they do have an online premium class that you could do that is definitely a good one. You could do it, and they have a lot of videos, and if you have any questions, you can still contact Kevin George. So because some people can't do the virtual live class because they're working a 9 to 5 and this and that, and they can't do the weekends because they're not having live class. Like you can't go to the class right now. But that the online class premium, you get 500 practice questions. You get all kinds of videos. You'll get a textbook. You'll get an online book there, and you could go. That's a new way of doing things. So, but where can you get a license? It'll take 40 hours to take a class and and then you're going to eventually have to take the test. They're going to be opening that up soon or figuring that out. And once you take the test, you become a real estate agent. And
I'm making money.
and then you're making money. And if you want information about um, the website to sign up for the class, I got coupon codes I could give you. And also, if you want any type of um, you know where do I hang my license or who am I going to work with, just contact me. Actually, I'm meeting with people all the time, other wholesalers or agents. I bring them into my office. We sit down for 20 minutes and I give them the benefits of becoming an agent here at Villa. And if you want to just be an agent, if you want to be an investor slash agent or more of an investor, there's all kinds of we fit for anybody. We really do. I'm more of an investor, but I'm telling you what, I'm going to be a 50-50 pretty soon doing both. So, and it's just about, you got to get being an agent right now with everything that's going on right now. We're probably going to see a lot of more foreclosures. We're going to see more short sales, more people, so there's going to be more listings out there for people to do. And you could, there's all kinds of ways of doing it. Just contact me, and I could give you all kinds of good information and talk to you about what we have to offer you.
So Todd, all the way through all this, you've never told anybody how to contact you.
Yeah. Well, you can contact me by my cell phone's 248-497-9195. Again, 248-497-9195. And you could go on my Facebook page and you could direct message me. That's fine too. My Facebook is TC Deals Detroit. TC Deals Detroit. And I got an email, todd.tcdeals@gmail.com.
Yeah. And what Todd's pointing out about where he works, there's very few investor-friendly brokers, and definitely is working for one.
Absolutely.
So guys, you should contact him.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So if you're an agent and you want to stay an agent, there's leads, company generated leads that they provide. That's one way. We got actually Maureen and I this week are going to do a quick like agent tools, a quick review or just like training or not, I guess just showing people of what type of tools we have here for agents.
And both of us keep talking about Maureen. She's the broker at Villa and very experienced
Yep.
a knowledgeable person, especially on like generating leads, how to do your deals, working with investors, has excellent training, like incredible resource for investors and
Absolutely. Yep. And then
agents.
Yeah, but if you want to move your license here or get more information, contact me. That I think that would be the best step. Contact me first, and I could give you everything, and then we could set up a meeting. You could come here, we come to you, whatever works out best. Our office is in White Lake, but don't let that scare you, because all of these companies are going virtual. Okay.
Virtual.
Yeah, so eventually I feel we're gonna have an office, maybe in Macomb County, Novi. We're gonna have offices in different spots, but it's really not it's not we do a lot of online training with everything that's going on now. We're pretty much got a online training every day that good information, like Instagram. I got a Facebook business agent page, all kinds of just easy things. But again, yeah, just contact me, 248-497-9195.
That's great. So I guess now after that, we'll just open it up for questions. So we're going to start taking questions.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, guys.